So how did you get into this? How did you get into this black nomadic lifestyle? Because like when I hear that, I'm thinking homeless. Right?
Well,
like out the suitcase?
Yeah, that the word needs to have a little twist on it.
Okay.
But I studied abroad in Costa Rica when I was in college. And it was something that I just really thought was exciting and fun and different, especially as a black woman. I didn't see a lot of women out there in the international field doing that. So that's how I got my foot in the door. It was a lot of fun. I love it.
Were you nervous at first because you said you didn't see a lot of black women doing that? So here you are, and you're kind of like, do you go by yourself?
Yes, most of the time.
Wow, that's got to be so empowering to just pick up and just go somewhere and not rely on anybody else.
It's a adrenaline rush for sure. Just being in a place that you don't know, that's not familiar to you, and having to navigate the country on your own, like it's a vibe, it's a rush, and I love it so much. I think that I was scared. There were a lot of times where I was a little bit nervous because, like I said, I didn't see people who looked like me, so I was afraid people would think, you know, anything that they know about black women that they see on TV, you know, because that's kind of the norm, and they only associate it with what they see. So it was nerve-wracking, but I got through it. It was exciting.
Now, have you gone to countries that you don't speak the language?
Yes, so Costa Rica, I did not speak the language. I know I'm from LA, but I didn't speak it, but I took classes, I took courses, and it helped me along the way. And also I stayed with a family when I was out there, so I was able to practice.
Wait, how'd that happen?
Okay, so it's called a homestay.
Okay, I'm about to say, you just roll up on some people.
No, it's called a homestay program, and you basically get to stay with a family, and it's all about the intercultural communication and talking with each other. So it helped me, and it also helped them because they want to learn English. I want to learn Spanish.
Do they have a nice house?
It was pretty nice. It was
Your
pretty
voice
nice.
went up, and when people's voice goes up, they are lying.
It was different. Let's just say that, and you have to prepare yourself when you travel somewhere new. Like it was different, but it was, I would say, you know, middle class. I had my own room.
Okay.
They did my laundry and fed me and all that stuff, so it was great.
What's the scariest thing about doing this?
The scariest thing about traveling, I would say, is sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get into. Like you just don't know. There's a lot of unknown territory out there. You know, like if you're in your own city, you know where to go, you know what time not to be there. But when you're just traveling, like it's just good luck and have fun and stay vigilant.
I'm sure you keep your parents on edge.
Yes, especially my dad. But at this point, they've gotten used to it, you know. But it has been hard because I travel so often. I tend to miss out on a lot of different things that happen. But they love it as long as I let them know where I'm going, you know, who I'm staying with, all of that stuff. It's fine. It works out.
Now there are differences between being well-traveled, being a world traveler, and being a nomad. Break it down for us. Like, what's the difference? Because you call yourself a black nomad. I
do. I would say a world traveler is someone who visits destinations. They like to travel often. You know, they have a couple of passport stamps. But I would say a nomad, the key word that I think of is independence, right? So it's like a freedom. You don't have to focus on going back to the States. Like you find a job where you can just be open and go wherever you would like to. So it's all about freedom with being a nomad.
Are you rich?
No.
Aren't y'all wondering that, right? Because you kind of have to, like, okay, to have the flexibility to just pick up and go for, what, weeks at a time?
Months at a time, weeks at a time.
So?
But I would say that it's the cost of living abroad in most places is a lot cheaper than in the States.
Okay.
So when I was living, I also lived in Spain for a little bit, and I think my rent was maybe like 200 euros or something like that. And so I'm getting paid.
Hold up, what?
Yes, like 200.
For a nice place?
For a nice place. It was a nice place. It was gated. It was fabulous. And so people, you know, are playing the game out there. You go to Bali, you getting all type of amazing things. So it's not, the money is not as crazy as you would think. You can save. That's what most people do when they live the nomadic lifestyle. They're able to save money while they're doing it.
Wow, that sounds like you kind of got it figured out there.
Yes, yes.
I'm inspired. Okay, now when it comes to logging travel miles, last year, how much time did you spend traveling to other countries? Like, what would you say? How much time were you just out of the country?
I think I was gone maybe once or twice every 3 months. Okay. So it was quite often. I was pretty much gone most of the time, but I would come back occasionally with family. But I would say probably about 6 to 7 months out of the year.
So let me ask you a personal question. Is that okay?
Uh-oh, yes.
How are you having do you have a relationship?
I don't, I'm single.
Okay, so that's probably why it's easier.
Yes, it's much easier. And also, when you're single and being abroad, like, it's much easier to meet people, you know, and they see you without someone else, so they kind of like want to help you and they want to assist you. Like, what are you doing out here by yourself?
A little damsel in distress thing you play. Oh, okay. I don't speak the language.
I need help, you know, but it works. It's a great way to meet people.
Now, you also date abroad as well.
Yes, I have dated a couple of times abroad, yes.
Okay, well, we're not going to let you just slide past that now. So what's the difference between dating abroad and dating men here in America?
I would say that my experience in the U.S., the men here kind of want you to court them. You know, they want you to kind of do all the work, and they sit back, and
what's going on, fellas? We got some fellas in the audience. I need someone to step up and address this. Well, does anybody want to speak on this? Any of the fellas here? Nobody wants to speak?
Uh-oh, see, that's why.
We got a microphone. I want to hear why do we have to court y'all now? Please stand up. What's your name, sir?
Marcel Sawyer.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good. So you like to be courted?
Actually, I like to do the courting.
Okay.
But I feel like there's a generation of men that has fallen slight on that.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of them are afraid to actually take the initiative to do so. I've always thought of a female as somebody that's my equal, somebody that's my rock, I'm equally yoked with them. But a lot of people want to put them on pedestals, but not the proper pedestals. They want to put them on the sexual pedestal and then pursue that.
How do you court a woman? Like, what's your definition of courting a woman? Because, like, sister girl here, she got to go all the way to Spain to find someone that's going to court her. So, what your friends doing out here?
Well, making sure that she's smiling every day, making sure that she feels nurtured and cared for.
Are you here with somebody? Are you with somebody here?
No.
Okay, because you kind of look like you kind of spin game a little bit.
I mean, we could travel abroad together. It's perfectly fine.
Look at this.
I got a passport.
Black man in LA is like a unicorn that want to go on a date. You better grab him.
But definitely just making sure that she feels like a queen.
Okay.
On a daily basis.
Tell the rest of your friends to act like this too, because we gotta travel overseas.
I shouldn't have to
Gentlemen
do
in
that.
America, get it right.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would love. You know, we would all love that. But I feel like, especially on the East Coast of the States, is where they're more inclined to speak out to you. But like in LA, it's the eyes. You know, they give you the eyes, like, oh, I'm interested, come get me, type of thing. But abroad, I haven't experienced that at all. If they see you and they want you, like, you're gonna know.
Do the men feel more masculine overseas? Like they're more aggressive when it comes to women? No shade to the men here, but do they more of the hunting type of thing going on?
I would say so. Especially, I dated this really great guy. I can't say too much because he's married now. But he was great. He's just very.
What country? Give us the country.
I met him in South Africa, but he was from the Congo.
Oh, okay. He had no ring on when you met him?
He had no ring on when we met. We went on a couple of dates. It was great. But there's also these cultural norms you kind of have to get used to.
Wait, so you were dating him, so he probably still was with that lady and then he married her?
Well, that was a while ago, so I give him that.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's probably another thing that comes another negative that comes with traveling abroad because you don't have the luxury of kind of stalking them.
Or staying too long, yeah. I mean, it happens. I think with him, it was so much time. We met at a karaoke bar. You know, he was doing the security, you know, and he was able to get us in all the time. Like, it was just fun. As far as a committed relationship, I haven't found that yet, but if I did, I'd be more than happy to move abroad.
Okay. Well, I guess you also have to figure out the cultures, like you mentioned about the different cultures abroad, right? Because in some places, it's not really frowned down upon to have multiple women. And you might just stumble across one of those nations where it's okay and you're getting mad. And he's like, well, I have 7 others. What do you mean? Why are you tripping?
Yeah, I think...
You American women.
I think it's a conversation, you know, most definitely. But I have run into that. Like, be my second wife, you know, it's all about financial equity, but that's not my thing.
Be my second wife.
Be my second wife. Not the number 1, but the number 2.
There might be some pros to that, though. Like, when you're too tired, you're like, just go ask your first wife. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So what men, what country would you say had the most, the men you were the most impressed by, the best men?
Honestly, my time in South Africa, they weren't South African, however, no shade. They weren't South African. They were men from the Congo, men from Ghana, men from Nigeria who were just coming down and doing work down in South Africa. But I also can say the men in Spain are extremely romantic.
Okay.
Extremely romantic.
What's the most romantic thing someone's done for you in Spain?
Well, he went and drove an hour away to where I was living, I was living in Guadalajara in Spain, which is maybe 45 minutes away from the big city, Madrid. And he drove all the way out there to come get me. On our date, drove all the way back. He took me to dinner. He had flowers. Like, these are things that I've experienced in the States, but just not as much. And he was just more inclined to do it. But you also have to be careful wherever you go, because everyone kind of wants to be in the States. And so you have to make sure, like, is it a real connection, or is it the green card situation? Yeah, so it's just being vigilant and making sure you're aware.
But if they offer a lot of money, though, I mean. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's thinking that, right?
Don't judge me.
See? Okay. So doing all this traveling, do you ever get homesick?
All the time. As a nomad, like, it can be very isolating, because, you know, you can get lonely, especially if you're there for the first time and you haven't met and you want to build a community or a tribe. It can be very lonely. But I'm always on the phone, FaceTiming family. But then you also have to think about the time differences. You know, so it may be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but at home it's 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's kind of hard to keep that same connection with them. And I'm very close to my family.
So do you have a home base? Is your home base here?
Yes, I would say LA is my home base.
Okay.
Out of all of the cities, that's where I'm here the most, and then it's a lot of back and forth, back and forth.
When you travel like this, are you taking a carry-on, or are you checking a bag?
I'm a check bag girl.
Okay.
I have lots of, like, makeup and fun accessories, and it's hard to put everything into a carry-on. I would say a carry-on is more for someone who doesn't have a lot of things or doesn't want to take things with them everywhere. And also for people who just don't want to deal with the checked bag and having to go to make sure your bag is there on time. Like, I don't, that's not my thing.
How long do you usually stay in these countries?
I would say probably between 3 to 6 months.
What? Oh
Yes.
my God. Could any of you guys just pick up and go somewhere for 3 to 6 months? You could? Some of y'all
You
raise your
said
hand. How
yes
many?
back there.
Some of y'all can? Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
I would be so, I don't know.
It's exhausting, though, living out of your suitcase. But as being a nomad, you do have the freedom to choose a lot of different places. Like, you don't have to stay 3 to 6 months.
Do you work at these different countries you go to?
So I'm a travel content creator. So I create content for companies if they want to increase their brand awareness. They want more people to know about them. I'm also doing a sponsorship with Tempe, Arizona. Just kind of introducing their city to Black travelers, because there's so many things to do. So it's like finding the sponsorships, working with brands. Also, teaching English is a really easy way to make money. You can do it online. You can go to the actual school wherever the country is. There's a lot of different ways.
Let's go back to the first one, because I think I want to in on that action. So you get paid from these different places to basically promote and show the world, like, as an influencer, a travel influencer?
Exactly. That's the term.
So they pick up the tab?
Yes, they do. They do.
What? I'm hating right now.
They might be able to fly you out. They might be able to.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And I've been getting more and more opportunities as I've become, you know, people are more aware of what it is that I do, because a lot of people don't know what travel influencing is. You know, they don't know all of the different destinations that are out there for Black travelers. And so I think it's my duty to make sure that I'm sharing this information with everyone so they can head out there too.
What would you say to other Black women out there? Because I feel like we kind of get stuck in what's comfortable. We go to the same places. I see the same people in Vegas, Miami, and we may get adventurous and go to Jamaica, right? It's the same. Like, I feel like we need to be more, I don't know, open-minded with our vacationing. You know, what would you say to other women out there to encourage them to do the same thing?
I would say to just find something different. You know, a lot of people like to go to the places that are familiar, like you say, but I've even just spun the map one day and said, I'm going here. Or I also go on, like, Facebook or Instagram, and I, like, find these really cool deal sites. And then you can just figure out, well, if it costs maybe $300 for me to get from LA to, I don't know, China, it does happen, then maybe that's the place for you. So just kind of thinking a little bit more out of the box. Also with the Year of the Return happening in Ghana,
yes.
like that's a really big opportunity for
Can you
people.
explain what that is to the people watching?
Sure. So the Year of the Return was put on by the country of Ghana. And so what they did is they said, you know what, like all of these black travelers, all of these black people, like we want to welcome you back. We want you to come back to our country, and we want you to feel a sense of belonging.
Because that's where the slave trade, the door of the return, right?
Exactly, the door of the return, the castles, Cape Coast, all of those things. And so I don't know if you've been watching it, but it's been amazing. Like the vibe, the energy that people bring. I really wish that I could be there. I couldn't this year, but I will most definitely, if they plan to do it again, I'll be there next year for sure.
So what's the difference between traveling and vacationing? Is there a difference?
I would say when I think of vacationing, I think of more of like just relaxation. Like you're just going to kind of like relax and breathe and get away from your normal routine. But like a traveler, someone who's like a well-versed traveler, these are people who are doing it for like some sort of purpose or for maybe like adventure. They're not just trying to relax by the beach with a cocktail. You know, they want to get out and meet people and explore different cultures.